Hey guys, welcome back to All Things Cinema. And today we are here for yet another live stream. It's been a while since we had Ashmita on our channel, and welcome back. Let's say welcome back. She recently had her
Thank
birthday,
you.
so belated
Yes.
birthday wishes from all of us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And as always, I hope your birthday week or birthday time was, उस पे चार चांद लग गए होंगे with a good Malayalam
Yeah,
film
yeah,
that.
it was fun. So it's one of the reasons why I missed out on most of the releases, which were done on my birthday weekend. Most of the films released like Alappuzha Gymkhana or Bazooka, Good, Bad, Ugly, then Basil's film. They all released at that time, and then I had like people over at my place, so I was busy like those 3-4 days completely, and then all the good shows were gone, like which I wanted to catch. So I could catch Alappuzha Gymkhana. That's the only film I could watch.
Yeah, and me too. Like I wanted to watch Bazooka, I wanted to watch Marana Mass, but
Yeah,
unfortunately it wasn't playing near me. And but I think we caught the good one out of all these,
I
and
think so.
it's a I think it'll be fun to talk about all things Alappuzha Gymkhana. So first of all, we have known this director to be very eccentric, and very creative in his choice of subject, and
Yeah,
also like the execution as well. Like it's not just what he picks, but also how he executes. We saw that in Talumala and now this. So the expectation, the bar was already set so high
that's
with
true.
what we experienced in. Is it Talumala or Talumala? I always get confused.
I pronounce it as Thalumala. I pronounce it as that. So
Okay, so let's
if
go with that. Unless we
yeah,
are wrong, somebody can correct us. So
yes,
so that so we already had the expectations sky high because it was such a breath of fresh air back then, and uh, I couldn't catch it in theaters, but people who have seen that in theater,
yes, I have.
they go gaga over it, and the
Yeah.
screenplay and the choreography and everything. So with this movie, I when it started out, so I watched it in. I think it's almost been a week. You remember we were planning to do this last week. So
Yes.
I saw it then, and I went with a blank canvas. Like I hadn't seen the trailer, and I
Okay.
just knew that it's about boxing, and I was just I went with a very open mind. Okay, we have seen a lot of good boxing films and bad ones also. The good
Yeah.
ones that come to mind was you remember that Tamil movie which was really good. I am
Oh, that
forgetting
was
the
amazing with Arya, right?
Parambarai something. I'm
I'll butcher the name, so I'll not say it.
yeah. So that was a. I think that was one of. It came at the same time when Tufan came in Bollywood, and
Yeah.
they were comparisons. So we have seen really good stuff in this genre before also, but the way this one starts, I think from the start itself, it sort of establishes this is not just a boxing film.
Yeah.
This is beyond that. This is more than that, and this
Yeah.
is not a masterclass in how to make a boxing film, but this is more of how not to make a boxing film, and uh, or how to make just a boxing film far more interesting.
Yeah.
Because the reasons when they set out to pursue boxing, it's not for the love of the game. It's
Yeah.
for other reasons, and that's what makes it interesting right from the word go. So, did you feel the same as well? Like, did the film pull you in just right from the start, how it did for me?
So I watched the trailer and I thought that okay, this after watching the trailer, I thought okay, this is interesting. We're gonna get a sports film, but knowing it's Khalid Rahman, it wouldn't be conventional for sure.
Yeah.
So I went in with the thought, like you said, you went in with a blank slate, but I kind of went in with the thought that I'm not gonna get a conventional boxing film.
Mm.
It probably is going to subvert my expectation in some other way,
Yeah.
because I thought to myself, oh, are we going to get that similar underdog story? And I was okay with that. Like, if okay, we were getting underdog rising to become a winner, I'm fine. I love those kind of story. If executed well, I love such stories. But
Yeah.
again, in my head, I was like, no, I don't think it's going to be all that, because firstly, it's a Khalid Rahman film. So I think somehow my expectation is going to get subverted. So when
Mm.
the movie started, I went in with that expectation. And the fact that it started very lighthearted, it's like all youngsters trying
Mm.
to pass their term because they want to get through the sports quota so that they can apply later. So I thought that was an interesting premise. And in my head, I said, okay, fine, we're going to get the boxing matches, but what's the actual moral of the story?
Yeah.
So I really liked the moral of the story, even if it's not like a revolutionary film, I would say a sports drama. But I really like the simplistic moral of the story that, even if you lose, it's okay. Like, it's
Yeah.
not the end of the world. I like that. So I like that theme that, okay, it's like Neslan being the lead there, one would expect he'll win his bout over
Mm.
there,
Mm.
right? But it did not happen. So, there were many points where I thought something will happen and it did not. And
Yeah.
that was kind of refreshing. And in the end, they take that loss, and they're like, okay, fine, now we have started, like, I found a community, I enjoy this, I'm gonna, even if I lost right now, I'm gonna train myself to become better. I think that messaging, that core messaging, was really nice. And something that, that kind of positive messaging is also quite good to reinforce, because it's always not about winning. From losing also you can learn a lot. So that way, I thought the movie was very breezy, and it's calm, cool, chill, fun vibe. Nothing. It's there. The serious message is there, but it doesn't go way too serious. The fun element is always there throughout the runtime. So yeah, this was a fun watch for me overall.
Yeah. I don't know if you have seen the Office series. So in that there is a character who says this dialogue, which I got reminded of when I saw this film. The dialogue goes, "Not everything is a life lesson. Sometimes you just fail." So
Yeah,
so
so true.
so, so I thought that's a perfect synopsis, or one liner for this film. Like, they just and they were also young enough to just be able to fail, and still have a lot of time to decide where to go, and how to go about in life, because failing in 12th standard is not the end of the world.
Yeah,
uh, and for them, like, I one thing I liked was none of the characters had like a sad past or something, like,
yeah, it's very normal. Like, that's for the
yeah.
movie. It's very normal.
Yeah, it normalizes or humanizes things, because it's very easy to go very cliche, and it's very easy
Yeah,
to show that kind of emotional stuff for the audience. But here, how he plays it so subtly, and uh, how he actually understates a lot of things, so
yeah,
that is very relatable. Because so I remember, I didn't score a lot of marks in class 11th. Okay. And I was until at that point, I was under the impression, oh my god, my life is over.
yeah,
What do I do next? Because 11th and 12th, we have grown up in a household or in a society where that's probably the most important couple of years of your life,
right.
and really decides your future. That paves way for how your future will be shaped up. And when that
Absolutely.
happened, I was absolutely devastated, and I was like, if I'm not doing well in 11th, what's gonna happen in 12th?
Yeah,
And now when I look back, none of that comes to any use what I studied back then. I was having science in 11th and 12th, and hardly any of that stuff comes to use, right? so
yeah,
so so that's what this movie also kind of teaches us, that even if one door was closed on them, shut down on them, okay, for whatever reasons they chose boxing, but they at least found a purpose for at least that 1 year, so that
Yeah,
they get into the college because of the sports quota.
correct.
And once they failed, they it didn't break them. It
Yeah,
didn't break the, because of the collective friendship that they had. It kind of reunited them together.
yeah,
uh, so that was a silver lining. And what I also liked, like, so until the climax came, no, just like you, I kept thinking, okay, what's going on, how is this gonna end, what's the moral of the
yeah,
story? Because if it hadn't been this kind of a climax, it could have been a bang average film, right?
right.
But the when it took that turn, and when it I felt so relieved that, okay, what
Yeah,
what a genius move that was, to suddenly, because the in a movie like that, the final fight is the pinnacle. it
yeah,
just it just creates that high, it goes to a crescendo, and then it builds towards that.
yeah.
But here, the final fight was sort of a downer, and for the right reason.
Yes, exactly. And the guy who was the strongest boxer of them all, he just abandons it. And then, you wonder, okay, why he does that. But later, you get that when they are in that ambulance, he's like, because he was threatening all of you. But then when they came out, there's this huge fight between the two groups. And then he said that, okay, maybe I could have completed the fight, but he was threatening to bash all of you, and I thought it was not worth it. So these are like very simple, normal. Like, it's not, the message is not out of this world, but it's still so profound. Like, these are the small, small things. At that time, okay, the friendship matters more. Okay, I have found a community, and yeah, I don't want, because of me winning, others get bashed. Like, these are very small, small messages which I thought were executed in such an understated, simple, real way. There was no over dramatization. Like, there was nothing. Like, if you say take Thalumala, let's just take that. Like, everything is at a 100x level. The emotions, the action, the way the film looks. But here I liked how it was just them living their lives, trying to figure things out and finding a community in the end. So I really liked how, like, it was beautifully simple and sweet.
Yeah, and the attempt to break out from a typical boxing film or a sports genre film doesn't seem to be in your face.
Yeah,
It's the way it's executed. It from the start itself, it never felt forced upon you that, okay, they're trying too hard to go a different route.
right.
and
Exactly.
and that's the speciality of the director, that with Talumala he was actually breaking a lot of stereotypes, and he was and again, that also didn't look forced upon. And
Yeah,
here, so when he over exaggerated things, it didn't come across as like that on screen.
yeah,
and when he
exactly.
and when he understated the things in a very contrasting way in his next film, again that felt very natural.
Absolutely.
And you credit that not just to the director, but of course also to the edit, to the screenplay, and to the
Definitely.
performances, because none of the
Absolutely.
performances felt larger than life or heroic. They were also relatable. And like you
Very.
said, the strongest contender gives up in the middle, and the one guy, the colored hair guy, he, you don't
He
you
wins.
didn't you didn't expect him to win, and he wins.
Exactly. That's true. That's true. Absolutely. So and when it comes to subverting expectations in a screenplay, this is the kind of subversion I like, where it's just so organic. And I love that there's a mixture of people, who, the girls, for example, they have been, that with their body language they are pro. And the guys, they, even though we have this whole training montage and all, it's kept very real that, fine, you have trained for a couple of months, but you are also going up against people who have been training for, say, years, and they are better than you, so you're going to lose. So it's not like because you've shown a huge training montage. Because I thought there was this discourse that, why have this big training montage where you're setting them up for fail? But that's what real life is, right? You prepare. I mean, you can have all the preparation in the world, you can do your best before actually facing the song, and you can lose there.
Yeah.
Like that also happens, right? So, and it's not like, the whole of the training is a waste. They have improved. There's a clear improvement in their skills. When there's the gang fight, they fight it off very well. Then they say that, no, you know what, we are going to improve upon this, and we are going to win the next year. So because of that, I would say that training montage helped them a lot, because it
Yeah.
gave them a sense of discipline. So it was not just about, okay, having the training montage and somebody has to win. So I thought that all of that was mixed really well. So this was a very breezy screenplay. When I'm talking about it right now, because when I was watching it, yes, these things were coming in my mind. But when I'm discussing now, I mean, I am appreciating the screenplay even more right now,
Mhm.
because of how real and normal it is, but it's still very profound.
Yeah, and so I saw the interview Khalid did with Nona, and in that he said that this comes from his real life experience.
Oh.
It actually happened with him, and I just wonder how much percentage of this is exactly like that.
Hmm.
But even the basic idea, like if it happened with him, and I mean, first of all, to have gone through it and then
Yeah.
to execute it in a film, because there is not a single dull moment in the film.
Yeah,
even if,
that's
if even if there is no twist and turns as such which overwhelms you, there is enough happening on screen, like be the comedy bits, or
yeah.
even the music is very engaging and interesting.
True.
So all of these ingredients come together to make a very fun watch, as you said. Like it could be a one-time fun watch, but at least I didn't feel bored, even though I kept thinking, okay, where is this heading? Please don't disappoint by the end of it, because at one stage in the second half, like for example, when he loses Naslin's
Leslan.
character, when he loses, it doesn't really affect him. In fact,
Yeah, the next moment he's cheering for the girl.
he goes and cheers Natasha.
Yeah,
So I kept thinking, like, okay, what's the conflict here then? If it's not even affecting him one bit,
yeah,
and the movie is about to end, like I was looking at the runtime, and we were almost 15-20 minutes away. So I the good thing was I was not getting bored, but at the same time I was rooting for them as well. Like I
yeah,
wanted things to go their way by the end. Of course, we didn't predict or we didn't think like this is how it's gonna end, and
yeah,
it was a relief when you saw, okay, which route this director is taking. And also uh, I think what helped was every character had different nuances for them written so
that's true.
beautifully. Like each of them had a different element to them. Like the guy who's always in the sunglasses, who takes up kushti, and
Yeah,
he doesn't really
yeah,
he's their biggest cheerleader, and he's
exactly.
always in front, standing up for them, and fighting with the other groups. So he brought such a different energy. The bleached
That's
hair guy
true.
brought such a different energy, and he ends up winning that game as well. So
Do you
what
know
about the casting?
the guy who is playing the wrestler? Like, who's the wrestler? He's a really famous rapper.
Wow, I didn't
So,
know.
yeah, yeah, because I've reacted to his song, and when I saw, I was like, yeah, like I liked his acting. Like, he was so flawless.
He was, and there was this contagious energy around him, like the
Yes.
way he walks, and the body
Yeah,
language, the confidence, and the sheer confidence, and he does nothing. He's not even
exactly.
part of the boxing team.
So if you listen to his rap, he has a very unique voice. Like you would love, because you're a musician, you would find his voice really, really amazing. So I was like, yeah, I mean, the dude can act also so well. I feel that people from that industry, they're like
Oh,
multi-talented.
absolutely. Like Khalid Rahman himself, the director was in Manjumal Boys. right?
Exactly.
So he sets the bar straight up. Uh, so yeah, like what I was saying is like the ensemble cast is so perfectly done that it's kind of like Avesham, right? Every character had a different feel to it, and
Yeah.
the backstories for them was written so well that each of them owned it. Same way
Yeah.
here, also, all of them had something different to offer. It didn't
Yeah.
feel uh, one of them is an extension of another.
Correct, correct. And they had like their distinct personalities, and I really, really appreciate Khalid for, because now it makes even more sense because it's kind of inspired from his own life. So
Yeah,
the way it has to be projected on screen, I think he gets that. Like it doesn't need to be over exaggerated. It doesn't need to be dramatic. It doesn't need to be way too emotional. But it's just the right balance of how it's from a teenager's point of view, and that's exactly how the tone of the entire film is.
that's true. And yes, so Vishnu, I did see. I think she didn't see it
I
yet.
have not watched it yet. I have not gotten the time today, though. I got the time for recording finally.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
saw it. That's where I got to know the film is kind of based on his own life experience, and
Yeah.
I think it's he's one of the finest filmmakers I have seen in a long time. Like the new ones, because
Yeah.
he has not made a lot of films just yet. Uh, this was like his fourth or fifth film, I guess. And
Fourth, maybe.
the whole the discography of his career so far, every film is so different to each other,
Yeah.
and that's what I like being an artist myself. So this is something which I am also conscious of while I make songs, that none of my songs should sound similar to my previous song, because
Right.
that
Very
then,
difficult.
yeah, it doesn't typecast you as a particular kind of an artist, and it the variety and the versatility that brings on your profile. It's,
Yeah.
I think, and he doesn't seem to be somebody who tries hard to go different genres. It seems to come so naturally to him, because also I think he told us in the interview with Nona that he used to be an assistant director for quite some time with
Okay.
a lot of good directors before he made his debut. So of course, he was learning on the job there and
Yeah.
uh,
That's the
applying.
best kind of learning. But I'm
Yeah,
very interesting that you brought out the, being typecasted for your music. Do you think Neslan as an actor, probably because Premalu was such a big hit, like, do you think he is probably getting boxed in that innocent loser boy image? Do you think that is going to happen to him? Because it has worked for Premalu, now it has worked for Alappuzha. So now, because it's very easy to box actors like that today. That okay, one formula is working, so let's just keep on
see,
with it.
it's on him what kind of choices he makes, because what I've seen so far, there is talent, of course, to
Yeah,
be able to pull off other sort of characters as well. But sometimes when somebody's new, they play safe as well, to first
yeah,
lay an audience, a loyal audience base first, and
right.
then sort of cater to them something different. Like what happens sometimes is you don't want to take a risk and disturb that audience base which you have so far you know pulled up because of a certain performance or a certain type of character.
Yeah,
so
that's
so
true.
i I think so. Not everybody actually takes those kind of risks. Like Ranbir Kapoor in the beginning started taking risks right from the word go, and that
Yeah,
from the confidence you have in your own abilities.
that's
So
true.
for me, like it was, I was always confident that I can go across genres, and I will never be afraid to experiment, so to
Yeah.
speak. And so far, it has worked for me. Like some people say that maybe if you had stuck to one genre, you might have had more listeners by now. But I think long term,
So you
and
do get that comment that
I,
you should have
I
stuck with one formula
yeah,
that has worked.
yeah.
Hmm.
Last year when I did a Kavali, some people suggested me not to do that just yet. They
Okay.
wanted to continue to uh, do the similar kind of thing until I get to a certain number and then start experimenting. But I was like, no, I'm not thinking short term. I'm thinking long term.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's really subjective, to each his own. Every artist thinks different.
Yeah,
Uh,
I really hope it doesn't get boxed because I also see a lot of potential. Uh, a couple of scenes where he gets like angry or upset. So I found that spark in him where he could like really fit into amazing serious roles as well. So I really hope the directors don't box him that way.
yeah, yeah. Like I felt that maybe it's because his looks also at some at times, in our
Yeah,
country and in our film industries, looks play a big part. So the
yeah,
way you see, he has that kind of a feel to himself, that people might think of him fitting a certain type of character for now, but
hmm.
as he grows as an actor and also as a professional in the industry, he'll be able to make these decisions even better.
Probably,
I'm sure
probably.
the right management, like having right kind of people around you, the right team also helps a lot.
Helps a lot because I first saw him. My first introduction to him was through a serious role. I don't know if you remember him in Kuruti.
Oh yes, yes, I do. Now that you have pointed out, yes, I do remember.
Right. So, I mean, and then now when he, because Premalu was like this massive, massive success. So, and now again, Alappuzha has become a huge success. So, because Kuruti released on OTT, I don't think a lot of people probably wouldn't have seen him in that avatar because he was like a bacha at that point of time. He still looks like he still has a baby face till now, but that time he was like a baby only. So I feel that I hope his next film is maybe something different than just the innocent loser guy who is charming.
Yeah, and coming back to the film, one thing that I really liked was it was refreshing to see how the female characters have called him out at times when he's
Yeah,
flirting. How
correct.
he how the girl just leaves from that party when he doesn't really come up to the expectations.
Yeah.
uh, so and when Natasha also doesn't really give him any footage. So all those things was refreshing because given Premalu's success, again, it would have been very easy for him to have this parallel storyline or romantic storyline, some with
Right.
those.
Yeah, he moves on like this. He's like, it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. Like there is this girl in his school who has a liking for him.
Yeah,
That girl, and then there is the girl on the boat, and
yeah,
there's Natasha as well. So
correct.
and being a guy, I could relate to it, that when I was in my teens and when I was hitting puberty, we used to go through these sort of
I'm sure.
experiences or emotions that, today you have a crush on this one, tomorrow you have a crush on the other one.
Absolutely. And
So
he's so
again,
casually when they're going back before they get into the ambulance, he just runs. He's like, "Oh, Natasha, because that guy's name is Deepak, who's the most strongest, who's the strongest player." He's like, "Oh, she's in love with you." He's like so casually telling him, "Oh, did you know Natasha is in love with you?" So like it's so like the bromance is also very just so chill and normal. It's nothing dramatic. I love that.
and, and she had just said that he is the kind of guy I would like to
Yeah,
have a
he's
relationship.
my type. She just said he's my type.
Yeah, and that's relatable because back then we used to confuse attraction for love.
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
was again, and a couple of things I felt were really convenient, like how they find an ambulance which is actually going to Alappuzha. How is that possible?
It's
Random,
just yeah, those
random.
things are very convenient. Correct.
Yeah,
Like because they just need a ride, so they just get an
yeah.
ambulance.
Like literally, they find an ambulance when they are all injured and all,
Yeah,
and they get it, and then the ambulance drops all of them to his house.
Neslan's house. Correct.
Yeah, and they are out of it, and
How
uh,
considerate, now, of the ambulance guy.
yeah, I mean, and he's still
Such
there.
a nice guy.
He's not even leaving.
Yeah,
They are all out of it, and his mom is thinking, "Oh my God, what happened?" So I was like, "Why these things?"
That's true. That's a good point you got.
So yeah, like a couple of convenient moments, but these are the creative choices, liberties that people take in these kind of light-hearted,
That's
humorous.
true. That's fine. Vishnu is asking, did you watch? I did not watch it. If I could not watch it, because they were
Meaning.
like there were shows which were very far off or very late. That's the problem.
So Alvin here says that the ambulance thing was also happened in real life of the director. Wow.
That's
So
amazing. That's a beautiful coincidence. Then
yeah,
that's actually very sweet of the ambulance guy. Then whoever that was in real life.
it's very interesting. Then I was thinking that this is probably one of those creative calls they took in this film. But if what are the odds,
What are
right?
the odds,
First,
actually?
first of all, it's an ambulance, and secondly, it's going exactly where they want to go.
That's true. Did you like the boxing scenes, the way they were shot?
I did. It was not how we have perceived boxing scenes in other films.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
quite
it
different.
it was different, and I think there is a cinematographer, but then for boxing you hire a different choreographer who you know
Yeah,
designs all these sequences. So credit
that's
goes
true.
for because they they had to go a different route with the boxing sequences
Yeah.
because they couldn't have shown them as heroic, right?
Because
Because of the story. So that
yes.
completely changes how you shoot them,
Yeah.
uh, what camera angles you take, how you edit those. Because what we have seen in other, like even Dangal, so all those are heroic, sort of
Right. Move.
underdog stories, and this is a different kind of underdog story,
Right.
uh, where हार के जीतने वाले को बाजीगर कहते हैं types की, they
Yeah.
lost, but then they found another purpose in their life, right? At the end,
Right.
when he says, "Okay, I'll be the manager,"
Yes.
so at least, and I'm guessing that's for part two. They left that cliffhanger there
We don't know.
because
Then
it'll be
they'll win.
yeah,
It'll be interesting if they take a time skip and then they make Alappuzha Gymkhana too.
yeah, because I would be really
Because
interested
there's
in
a lot of potential to explore these characters, right?
explore the characters, plus also how Jojo will be as a manager.
Exactly.
Because up until now, we have only seen him as a failed boxer who's not really interested in it, who just wanted to get into a college.
Yeah.
But now, and he didn't love that. But now that he has found some sort of scope where he thinks he can be a good manager,
Yes.
that completely changes the dynamics of for a part two, and for his character also, for his
Yes.
character, it can go in a completely different direction.
Correct. I agree. I completely agree. Even for the boxing scenes, I also liked how it was. I found it was shot in a way which was very very personal in the sense, especially for the guy who had the curly hair. I forget the character's name. Who was very scared. He had gotten beaten by
uh,
that opponent
uh,
first, and now
Ka-
he was facing him again.
Christopher.
Christopher. I liked how in his bout he did not win, but the way they showed how he put up a fight, and you could see that he is like shit scared. Even
Yeah.
on the ring, he was like shit scared. But then you see him slowly get that confidence. So the way it is shot with just such a huge close up on his face and how he's transitioning through the rounds, I really like that. Then if you see Natasha, it's very dynamic because she has that amazing footwork going on and she's just completely dancing. So the way her scenes are shot, it's very different. If Nesler and you find that okay, he just like that knockout punch was just amazingly done. So I found the way it was shot. It's not like very typical, but still very good to look at, and it's fun. I like the fact that I just had fun watching this film. It was not like it kept me engaged.
Mhm.
It subverted my expectation, Yes, it was not very, very out of the box, but out of the box enough to make me appreciate the final message of the film.
Yeah, I think the film is about, it's not always about landing a punch. If
Yeah,
you evade the punch, that also can have an impact. So basically,
correct.
uh, evading the punch for them here was understanding what's right for them and what's wrong for them. So
Right,
when he realizes that, okay, boxing is not for me, but maybe manager is the thing for me, right? So
right.
so sort of he then and for others also, like, I'm sure other people also, just like he has a different kind of a learning curve throughout this experience. For others also, there was a different kind of learning curve respectively for each character.
Right, right.
Vishnu, as a commentator, said that Naslin was actually cast in Good Bad Ugly as Ajit's son, but due
Okay.
to I couldn't do, and film released on the same day.
Okay.
Vishnu is like an encyclopedia,
Yes, Vishnu gives me like I really depend on him on what's happening, what is happening. He's
and he's asked,
asked,
"Do you
"Do you
remember?"
remember when you?" Yeah, she was there in. She played Mamuka's daughter. Remember in the Kadal,
I had not seen.
Mamuti and Jyotika, where Mamuti is gay. She's the
Oh,
daughter.
right, yes, yes, yes.
Remember? Yeah.
Yeah. Now I do. She's, it's not just JoJo. I got an instant crush on her as well. So I really liked the performance.
Yeah.
And
She was fun.
yeah, she was very, very good casting also in that character. She
Correct.
looked like she belonged there. There are a lot of
That's
characters.
what.
Yeah,
That's
who
what.
could. Yeah,
You could like because it could come across very fake when you're projecting a confident boxer, like, oh, you know what you're doing, and it could come off like you're acting, but it did not happen with her. Like it felt like natural that she knows what she's doing.
yeah. Overall, I think every department, like I mentioned music before, also background score and the songs, everything was very well
Yeah,
gelling with the. It didn't feel like it was something out of the place or something
right,
distracting.
right.
And overall, I think this might not be as impactful as a Talumala in terms of what Khalid Rahman has achieved so far. But
Hmm.
this is a feather in the cap. I think not
Yeah, of
just but
course, of course.
for even for Malayalam industry in 2025. Like, again, they have given so many beautiful films, and this is another beautiful addition to all of that. I know
Yeah,
that Bazooka hasn't really received the same kind of love. I have not seen it, but
I've also not seen it. Nona
I've
has watched it, so
I've
I'm
not
not.
heard a lot of good things. I've heard interesting things about Marana Mass, uh,
Okay,
and but again, sadly, we have not seen them yet.
correct. Nona has roasted Bazooka. Really? I have to. Now I'll watch the roast. It was worth the roast though, except for the last 20 minutes. Okay. All right. Let's see. Now I want to watch. Why? Because the trailer was quite interesting and somebody told me that it's based on some game or something.
Okay.
I don't know. Like it's some based on a game.
Yeah. Well, we have reached a point in 2025 in Malayalam industry where Nona is roasting a Mammootty movie, but
Yeah.
at the
Yes.
a Naslan's movie is taking the win here, and
Before GTA 6. Huh?
yeah, I mean, imagine that. But yeah, all in all, I think it's been a great first quarter for Malayalam cinema, barring a couple
Yeah.
of blips here or there. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little conversation between me and Ashmita for
Yes.
films we wanted to discuss. And
Nona also went for the Thug Life press meet. Did you see that? Did you see his stories?
yeah, when we were discussing if he was available last weekend, he
Yeah,
said
he said he would be traveling.
so
Right.
he was traveling for that.
Yeah.
He's making some really good strides. Very happy for him.
Yes. I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, same. And I hope that we all three come together for something very soon on our.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so thank you guys for joining in, and have a good rest of the week. We'll see you very
Yes.
soon, and subscribe to all of our channels. Leave a like,
Yes.
dislike,
Even
whatever.
Nona's channel, if you haven't,
Yeah, yes.
please go and subscribe.
Yeah.
All
See you
right.
soon.
Ta-da.